Directly above the shelf, I have a menu called the status line. The status line is useful for a couple of things. The first thing is on this end, it has a pull-down menu. By default, the status line is set to modeling. When the menu set option is set to modeling, what I have at the top is I've got File, Edit, Create, Select, Modify, Display, Windows. Those are all standard menus. After that, I've got Mesh, which has to do with the mesh of each model. Edit Mesh, which gives me commands for adjusting that mesh. Mesh Tools, which are slightly different from edits. And display options for the mesh. Then I've got a menu that will let me edit curves, and this one is for NURBS surfaces, which we really won't touch on in this class. This will help me add deformers to my mesh and generate specific UV maps or 2D maps to equivocate 3D space. So all of these menus here are specific to modeling, but I know that I've mentioned that Maya has a lot of different features. So one of them is animation. These are my animation menus, and you see that that changes up here. So now I've got key, playback, this exciting new audio menu, visualize. Then if I wanted to do effects, here's my fluids menu, my particles, there's my hair. So here are all of my FX menus. There are a bunch of these different menu sets. We'll be staying in modeling today, but you should be aware that there are other options for you. This is your save, undo, redo icons, and again, they're kind of useless. Control S will save, Control Z will undo, and that is analogous to the File and Edit menu. When I go to the File menu, you'll see that the Maya file type is considered to be a scene, and we'll talk about saving in another video, so hang in there. Edit will give you both undo and redo, so you've got those. The other thing the status line has is these icons. These are your snaps. So you've been seeing me take my objects and move them around, and they just move freely. If I wanted them to snap to the grid, I could use this first icon here, and now every time I move, I will snap to a specific grid location. The shortcut key for that is the X key on your keyboard, so if I uncheck this button and I hold down the X key, you'll see that the button highlights. When I release the X key, you'll see that the button unhighlights. If I hold down X, I will snap to the grid. The next one is snap to curves, and the C key on your keyboard will snap to curves. Then I've got snap to points, and the V key on your keyboard will snap to points. Those are the ones that are going to be most useful for us, so I will pause there and come across. These will let you see what your output would be if you were going to render. And this class is a modeling class. We're not going to be rendering in this class, but if you ever had to, these are your rendering icons. And then finally, at the very, very end, I can show and hide my channel box. This is my modeling toolkit, and this is my attribute editor. So these here, again, that's the channel box. The attribute editor, which is similar, but gives you a little more detail. We won't be using it in this class, but you will in later classes. And the modeling toolkit, which gives you access to your commands again. I'm not a big fan of the modeling toolkit, but we'll talk about it when we need it. I'll leave this set to the channel box. The other icon over here that you will need is this one with the little hammer. That opens up the tool settings window. All of Maya's tools have settings, and I know you're thinking, we're in the Move tool. What settings can the Move tool have? Well, here's a big one. You see how my Move tool is set to move straight up and down? That's because it's oriented to the world. I can come in here and I can set it to object mode, and now it will move in the direction that the object has been rotated. The default is world, but I can change that. So all of Maya's tools have a number of settings. The tool settings window is the little hammer that's pointed at three little dots. And you can find all of these on a window called the status line. Again, if I go to Windows, User Interface Elements, it's this one, status line.